Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to episode 69 of the Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast. And what an episode we have for you today. We will be discussing the Betfred Cup semi-finals. As you can see, partisan support is back.
Totally unbiased.
Totally unbiased from, glory hunter John Brown, who was our featured Hearts fan last week. So, as you might be able to see from the video podcast, things have changed.
Really?
Somewhat. I think he's got merch for every football team in the country, depending on who's doing well. So we'll be talking about that. We will also be talking about some of the pundits around the land. Micheal Stewarts and Tom English of the BBC got into some fisticuffs over the week. So we'll be discussing our thoughts on that and what we think about various punditry. Also, it's an exciting week as John moves on to new pastures.
Indeed. Sad day.
An exciting new opportunity, so we might see him slightly less frequently on Sofamanager. So we thought we would revisit the history of Sofamanager. Where does the name come from?
The origins.
Exactly. We're not a furniture store, as some people speculate. So we'll be discussing that, our humble origins, and where everything started, really. So stay tuned for all that. And again, like, subscribe, and follow on all of our platforms. It helps us loads. And yeah, let's get straight into things, shall we? Right, topic number one, I think has to be the hottest topic of the day. We are fresh off some BT Sports Super Sunday viewing.
Indeed, it's most unusual.
Headlines of 107,000 people. Back to back, poor BBC Sports Scotland people have been working for 7 hours, which they were complaining about.
Oh, boo.
I know. I've got to say, the day went well. I thought it panned out, yeah.
Aye, overall, good day, 2 good games, broadly speaking.
Great games, John.
Well.
Great. It literally couldn't have gone any better for me. Or for yourself, according to
obviously.
your Ultras scarf you've got there for the Dawn. So, which game do you want to discuss first?
I'll start with early.
Alright, okay, yeah, fair dues. Celtic playing Hearts at Murrayfield in front of the biggest Scottish football crowd in 30 years, just by default, really.
Pretty much.
I must admit, I was just kind of had this game on the side, and Hearts kind of melted second half.
Most of the game, actually, I think.
Yeah.
The early injury to Naismith just pushed them back so much. They completely lost kind of confidence in themselves, and rather than play the Celtic teams on the park, they played a kind of stereotypical Celtic team they'd built up in their heads of really good passers of the ball. Well, we need to sit back and contain, when really I think Celtic were there for the taking. If they'd pushed them sort of in the centre back area, centre mid was nowhere near where it usually is, and I think Hearts fluffed it a little bit in the first half, and second half they just kind of fell away.
I mean, all the momentum was with them on this fixture. If the opposite actually happened today than what we might have expected.
Pretty much, aye.
Celtic, another poor performance midweek. Never really looked up to it against Leipzig.
Not at all.
So they'd come back, heads down, tired, and yeah, Hearts just didn't look half the team we saw, the week before.
Certainly against Aberdeen, who looked fantastic.
Exactly. But just some careless wee mistakes, like the penalty. Do you think it was a penalty?
No,
I thought it was a penalty.
It wasn't a dive, but he went down very softly.
He did trip him.
Come on.
He did. It was a daft bit of defending. But good finishes from the Celtic players who just turned up the wick that second half. And it was something we've not seen from them in a while.
That's what I was going to say. As much as the Christie penalty decision was very, very soft, he changed the game.
Yes, he did.
When he came on. He looked absolutely brilliant. He had a bit of drive about him that Celtic were lacking coming from midfield. His goal was absolutely outstanding. What a finish.
Oh, that was cracking.
So he really changed the game one way or the other, depending on how you want to look at it.
He's definitely got that in his locker. I remember, when he was such a big star at Aberdeen.
Aye.
He reminds me a bit, now take this as it means, not in ability-wise, but as a kind of Gareth Bale figure at Real Madrid. Someone with bags and bags of potential, a huge amount of creativity, but it's a bit maybe shy about it because of the company.
He's overshadowed by someone else.
Slightly. So no, it was brilliant for him to do that. James Forrest just keeps playing better and better and better at the moment as well after he signed his new redonkulous deal.
I thought Rogic was okay for periods. Edouard was a wee bit disappointing. I don't think he'd done enough up front.
He's not got his, jangles tickled by Stephen McLean or something.
Was that way Kouassi?
Oh, right, okay.
What was it, Steve McLean doing a Vinnie Jones?
Aye. Stephen McLean didn't really pan out in that game.
No, he looked lost without Naismith kind of link and play.
He's not scored that many goals this season,
Nah.
I don't think, McLean.
McLean, he's not quick enough to lead the line himself. But like what we seen last week, when he has Naismith and himself, the link up play builds the sort of the play forward. But once Naismith went off, they never had the replacement. And I think not having the winger, I forget the guy's name, is it Cal Morrison?
Oh, yeah, well, they brought him on
Far
too late, much
too
to the
late.
dismay of our favourite pundit, Michael Stewart.
Indeed.
And Chris Sutton. It's funny, Michael Stewart was really, we spoke actually, earlier in the train in Edinburgh the other day about how good non-bias he was. I think he was leaning towards the Hearts. But then when you're sat at like...
But when you've got Chris Sutton on the other side, you're allowed to be a little bit biased towards your own team.
I think they needed that balance. It was interesting as well to see the sort of dual commentary setup they had as to like, who do we prefer, like Rob McLean and co, or
another guy,
Rory.
The guy wasn't as half as good.
I keep forgetting his name.
Right in.
It was funny as well because their half-time punditry was really awkward because it was Christoph Berra and Scott McDonald, and Christoph Berra at one point just said we're picking at straws here or something like that, and Haley Barber was just like, okay, moving on.
Just don't want to mess with the guy.
But we all know that at half-time they are picking at the scraps.
There wasn't a lot to discuss.
But in front of the 65,000 people, how do you think the atmosphere was?
It didn't go over all that great on the telly.
I thought the Hampden game came across as a more atmospheric
It came
game.
a lot over. Well, 30,000 Rangers fans were always going to make a noise.
Contributed.
A little bit disappointing. I don't know. Maybe it was just the way it was mic'd up.
Maybe
it was a lot better within the stadium, but it was quite flat. And maybe the game lent to that as well.
I know.
It wasn't as frantic.
I mean, you were trying to go. You were in the bar on Saturday.
I was thinking about going, I must admit.
You were looking at the heights, but of course you switched allegiances.
Different colour of scarf.
Yeah, Marooney to ready doesn't quite work in the same sense. So we are fresh off the Aberdeen game as of recording finished
about half an hour
45 minutes ago or something like that. And the first thing I'd like to say is anyway,
compose yourself. Hold on.
Now that I've got that out of the way, well, put the scarf to stick it on the table.
That's what I was going to do.
Yeah, we can stick it across. So if
Can you
you're
read that okay?
Aberdeen. I was bad. I even put up a Facebook post of the wee laughy faces with the score result as well, because we've been getting it all the time for the Rangers fans about this fixture. Diddy Cup team couldn't bring enough fans and get stuffed.
Putting on your level head though, you were bloody lucky.
Oh my goodness. Like that, when they came out that second half, do you know what? I would actually credit Aberdeen for performance because they came out for the first half, the first kind of 5-10 minutes, and really went for it.
They did.
So they were trying to win that game.
I think they came in with, they weren't going to sit back and try and contain like what Hearts did against Celtic, but at the same time they were quite respectful to what Rangers were going forward.
I think having McKenna back alongside Devlin
makes
was
a
huge
difference.
asset. But it was funny, I kind of watched more of the second half, and Rangers were parked inside the box.
Oh, aye.
And just couldn't find the killer ball at all.
They just lacked Kyle Lafferty, fundamentally.
Well, I
If
remember
he had been on the park, Rangers would have won that game.
people were saying to me earlier in the week, they've got no strikers fit. And of course, we'd all forgotten about Umar Sadiq.
And rightly so.
My God, the boy's a disaster.
Yes.
Gerrard is openly fuming with him on a number of fronts. There were so many offsides decisions against him. The dive
is criminal. that is actually horrendous.
McCoy was totally bemused. He's like, "You're 1-on-1. You round the keeper. That's you."
He was clean on. He could have slotted it 2 or 3 touches before he actually went down.
I know.
And he tried to ride the challenge, and it just shows a lack of confidence in the guy. He doesn't believe in his own finishing. He wants the penalty.
He's not playing for Roma anytime soon either, is he?
I don't think he'll ever play for Roma.
Oh, never.
I'll never mind playing in Serie B or anything daft like that.
I know. So he's basically at the door. I thought some of the youngsters, like folk like Ryan Kent, Ajaria as well, were running past folk for. Even freaking Goldson was storming back for the.
Oh, aye. They had free rein up to about maybe the 20-yard line. And then
Well, that's the thing. And couldn't find that final ball. But
they were really good. They just parked on the edge of the penalty box and hope for the best.
then Aberdeen's basically in their two banks of four. There was not really much room
No, it was difficult to operate, but
in behind. And how many shots did they have on target in that game in the end?
not a lot.
Not a lot.
Lewis wasn't worked at all,
That's what they were saying after the game.
which was quite surprising given the amount of pressure that was put on. Even just, pot shots for 18 yards out.
Mhm.
There was just nothing going.
Really weird. I just think they just lack that goal scorer in the team. So, someone like a Murphy that could do something, or, as you say, the Lafferty thing,
Aye.
or Morelos was sitting there with his wee bubbly
He's
baby
like-
face in the stands, which was pretty hilarious. But at the same time, Aberdeen don't have any good strikers either, and they still,
Aberdeen did exactly what they set out to do. It was just like what Gerrard said in his post-match,
Mhm.
just a smash and grab and,
Well
and
done.
take it. And fair play, that's exactly what they done.
Lewis Ferguson's second goal, his first one came against Burnley, a sensational overhead kick, another smash and grab effort.
Absolutely.
So that was fantastic, and fair play. And I actually give massive credit to all of the fans that went down there, because the big hoo-ha. I was especially negative about it. In the
I think, most people were.
if you count how many times I've used the phrase "horsed" or we've used the phrase "horsed" in last week's podcast, it's a fair
Substantial,
number.
right? It's not a drinking game.
And to get that celebration, it reminds you that it's what football's about. Because I'm going to go into work on Monday. Oh, they're all Jampos fans.
Aye, that'll do.
See you at the cup final, lads. Hey. And that's what it is. You stick with your team in the hard times and the smooth. So
Nah, sometimes.
aye. John Brown was like the most hardened football fan you could ever have come across.
I don't know what happened. Paul, do you want to fill me in?
Now the most fickle. Takes success anywhere he goes. And I'm supposed to be the guy that jumped ship to Celtic and Livingston,
No.
despite not having bought a bit of merch. I must say as well, one of the guys we berated last week, Max Lowe, had a pretty good game in the
He had a
end.
decent game.
He's actually exactly the player they need in that situation. Like, there's just a bit of skill to put the defender the wrong way, because
He handled Kent a lot better than what Constantine was doing. Constantine going off a terrible injury. I think it's
Yeah, I know.
a neck. Something's happened to his neck. Who knows?
Hopefully he's okay. But as McKenna said after the game, he's better, so we won't speculate as to. Yes.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it's maybe just what you need, a bit of luck into the final.
Exactly.
And you get horsed in the final.
But they've made the final, and you could see how much it meant to McInnes, who was nearly in tears.
I think so. That for Aberdeen, I think that was the cup final,
Yes.
and that you got to beat Rangers, your big rival.
Which that was the fantastic thing, at Hampden, the chanting before the match, and just seeing a bright blue kit against a bright red kit just looked brilliant.
It looked superb. The whole atmosphere, the cut shot in the first couple of minutes, the Rangers fans with a couple of flares, the big banner, and you're thinking, this is
the stuff.
It was high profile, and it was fantastic.
Do you know what, one thing I don't get is like the Rangers fans, a fantastic chant, the blue sea of Ibrox. I don't get it when you're at Hampden, because you're not at Ibrox.
Nah, well,
And yeah, it's a brilliant sight, but you're not there. So it's, chant something else. But we saw the same with Celtic, and Leipzig took a huge amount of support.
Mhm.
And they did their wee march thing through the streets, I saw.
very continental.
Yes. Because who were the German fans that did it in London when they played Arsenal last season?
Oh, Cologne.
Yeah, something like
There was
that.
like 18,000 Cologne fans poured into North London.
So we're giving as good as we could get.
It raises a profile to a certain demographic.
I just
It
wish
adds to the occasion.
it's just a shame that the teams don't match, the atmosphere that we're in.
Well, I think to be fair, I think the Aberdeen Rangers game did. There
Yes.
was a big atmosphere, and the game was exciting. It was frantic. Ebbed and flowed mostly to Rangers. Watching the Hearts Celtic game, it didn't have that kind of atmosphere.
From what I saw on my wee iPad screen, it wasn't as frantic, it wasn't as feisty.
I think
It didn't look like it meant as much to either of them. And you would have thought it would have been huge for Hearts. Like, huge.
it would have been. I think, like I say, the injury maybe kind of set them back a wee bit, but Celtic, they just played the Celtics game, and it killed the atmosphere, certainly on that side of the stadium. And 30,000 Celtic fans were always going to make a noise as well. So
That's really annoying, that. But that's the great thing as well, is at Hampden you saw the Aberdeen fans after 90 minutes were just giving it.
it's what football is all about. Really.
And then you see the Northern Lights is blasted after full time. It's a brilliant thing. So we'll try and get tickets to the final.
Oh, maybe.
Despite not being at the semis. I think they should all get handed free tickets for what they.
I was going to say you're going to fight for a
what they
50-50
did.
allocation now.
Well, That's the thing, isn't it?
That's a weird one now. Like,
it's the two-faced sort of. Do you know what? The SFA actually played this well. I think like the controversy was just to build the hype. This was all just a smoke
maybe
screen.
it was, aye.
Because there was more eyeballs on those games than I think.
Oh, like, even Betfred's been mentioned more than any other bookies in the last month.
So while we like absolutely lambast them for it, it turned out all right.
It's been a good day of football.
Super Sunday. Although again, that winds me up when they sing "Beautiful Sunday" and stuff. Like Celtic fans singing all the time, and it's like
it's not their song.
It's not anyone's song.
It's
really.
Dundee United song.
It's a Dundee United song.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Everyone uses it. Hibs fans use it. Everyone uses it. Trey's annoying, but anyway, yep. Aberdeen going to face Celtic in the final, December the 2nd, which is not that far away.
No, 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Yeah, which is it'll be nice and chilly for that.
Mm.
So we look forward very much to that. And there were some Premiership games this weekend.
Yep. Killie drew one each with Hamilton.
It's a bad result.
Bad result for them. I think they came back into they were 1-0 down.
Right.
Going into the second half. And St Johnstone beat St Mirren, I think.
It was good old Dougie Emery, I'm sure, getting the goal for them. Yeah. St Johnstone now, of course, go above Aberdeen. Into 7th. Aberdeen with a game in hand. Because it's funny when you look at the table, it's like, you go below St Johnstone and it's like Motherwell 6, Hamilton 5, Dundee 4 and St Mirren 3 or something like that, so it's 6-5-4-3. And then there's like a wee gap to everyone else. But that last top 6 spot could be interesting.
Could be. It's going to be a hell of a fight at the moment.
Yeah. Well, St Johnstone, Aberdeen, Livingston is what it's looking like it's going to come down to.
Like I said, I still say Livingston will fall away at some stage.
How about, do you think Kilmarnock and stuff would be able to maintain?
I think Kilmarnock will keep it going provided Stevie Clark's still in the position he's in.
Yes.
But it's exciting, can't deny it.
Well, very exciting fixtures in the midweek as well. We've got Hearts and Hibs.
Aye.
This could really knock the stuffing out of Hearts. If they get a double loss.
It could have been an exceptional week, or it could well be a disaster of a week.
Hibs, absolutely ran riot against Dundee or something, didn't they, at the weekend?
Yep.
So they're, coming to us in a bit of form. But we know they can't defend. So this is a very interesting fixture to look out for. It was a bit of a dud last season.
They weren't great, but I think there's a bit more going into this. Both teams are doing really well. Hearts have to bounce back if they have any hope of even maintaining like a top 3, because Aberdeen are now fancy it. This should spur them on for the rest of the season.
If they could find a striker, Aberdeen would be fine. That was the thing. See, my head always drops when they bring on Stevie May. Because my dad literally turned to me and said, "You're probably faster than him," and I was like,
"Yep."
Do you know what? Aye, blooming useless. So it's all very interesting. There's Celtic with a gap of what, 3 points, 6 points.
I think it's 6 points to Hearts, but Hearts will play the game extra.
Do you think we can write off their Europa League chances now?
Yes, I think
they needed to take something from that Leipzig game, because now they need maximum points against Salzburg and Leipzig to have a hope.
Nah, I don't think they'll do it. I think if you're Celtic right now, it's treble time. Ignore Europe. If you're Rangers, it's Europe is a big thing now. If you can get out of that group,
I've got a bad feeling that Spartak result's going to spark a downturn in their European performances.
I don't know. I would never expected them to get anything out of any of these games so far.
Yes.
But they're away to Moscow next.
Well, that's an interesting back-to-back.
Having got a rough idea what that kind of team's like, so they should be able to go there, and if they get a draw out there, that's fantastic, because they'll come back, they'll play Villarreal. Is it Villarreal?
Yeah,
at home, and then away to Vienna, who are kind of teetering on the brink anyway. They could be out. Vienna could be out by the time Rangers play them.
Yeah. Well, that would be good. But then, see, when you're out, I feel like it gives you a bit more freedom.
It depends on how they're doing in the league.
Yeah.
Because I think they're struggling right now.
So they might want to focus on that.
Exactly.
And patch there.
So it might work out for Rangers.
I was watching the highlights, and those groups are really interesting, because Rangers actually have quite a balanced group in terms of the teams that they're playing, the sort of quality. Celtic as well have quite a balanced group.
Oh, I don't know. That was a tough group.
But that's what I'm saying. These teams are of a certain standard.
Right, okay, yeah.
Whereas you look at, I saw Apollon Limassol were playing, I think, Eintracht Frankfurt and got horsed. And that was the team that punted Aberdeen. And there's a lot of random, Eastern European and Greek sides, like Arsenal and stuff, have quite easy groups.
Very easy. Chelsea put Bate Borisov,
Aye.
PAOK Salonika.
It's like, how did this all balance out? But they qualified on their own merit, eh? by some roasting goals. I saw Lazio actually were roasted Marseille. Some brilliant goals there, which was interesting to see. So no, good luck to them in Europa League competition.
Aye, we'll see how they go on.
We were watching the scores roll in on John's leaving do Saturday afternoon in the pub, watching Soccer Saturday for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I haven't done that in ages actually.
Neither have I. It's always a good watch. It's a shame it's a bit more not more Scottish centric, because I know we get sports team, but it doesn't really fill that void. Like a televised version of Open All Mics would be quite nice. With more production
I would
value.
rather listen to Open All Mics than I would Sky Sports News as well. So
It's an interesting format. Any interesting scores roll through for you there?
no particularly. Most of the things kind of burst my coupon, so standard.
Yeah, I was burst pretty early on. Ross County 5, Morton 0.
I don't want to mention the championship.
Billy Mackay getting all the goals. Falkirk
Ruined.
got beat 2-0 by
Yeah,
Cumbernauld. Alloa got a draw.
Alloa got a draw. Partick got beat, which is good for Falkirk. Ayr getting the win at Partick, which is quite interesting because clearly the sacking of Archibald's not spurred them on. But at the
Gaz
same
Caldwell's
time,
got a difficult job.
very difficult. But if you compare it to Dundee United, they were Robbie Nielsen in charge. I think it's 2 wins and 2. They were away to Dunfermline, who are mints.
Terrible.
But nevertheless, that's a game that they might have lost
Yeah.
last season or this season. So changing fortunes. I think you were getting Dundee United at 9-1
Right.
to win the championship. Tasty.
That's a good shout, actually. Elsewhere, Montrose getting a valuable victory, which I think takes them off the bottom of League One. Dumbarton were like second bottom, which is crazy, still in championship team
Aye, I think
last season.
Jim Duffy now and his manager.
How the mighty hath fallen
I will.
for the Elephants. So interesting stuff. They're Counting Beath also getting a victory, which would be fresh for them. And some of the lads in the pub were buzzing on Edinburgh City.
Getting another one.
Against Forfar, I think that was. So
They're riding high, top of the league.
are they?
Yeah,
Edinburgh City?
I'm sure they're top of the league.
Could build some momentum there, actually. I think it's a good wee club. Obviously James McDonough, the manager.
McDonough, and I think there's 2 ex-Falkirk players. I think there's that Liam Henderson.
Yes.
Not the good one.
Hendo. Passes it too much though. If you know the Falkirk reserve team, that would make sense to you. But that's a very specific.
I think maybe 2 people know that. It's
Well,
probably
do you know
us.
what? The brilliant thing about we came up with a chant and they all left.
Aye, but a fortnight later.
A game after. But he could be on a wee path back to Falkirk. He's doing a really good job.
So far, yeah. I think.
What is not really a League Two side. They were a Lowland League team for a very long time.
It just shows you once you do make it the kind of proper leagues,
Yeah.
what a difference it makes to your kind of prospects.
There's been a lot of chat as well about junior sides have managed to knock out a few League Two teams.
Aye.
From cup competitions.
And with them joining the bigger pyramid, some of these guys are quite ambitious. If you're Kelty Hearts right now, you must be looking at League Two going, a fair chance here.
Big Baz Ferguson.
Aye.
How the mighty have fallen again. Because he's managed Blackpool,
Clyde,
and now down at Kelty Hearts. I mean, it's very hard to kind of.
I think you find your level in what you can associate with. Like, I always say that because everyone always goes, Pep Guardiola couldn't turn Falkirk around right now. And they're correct because he doesn't have £100 million to spend.
No, that's true.
But I don't think, if you're Paul Hartley, right, roles reversed, he couldn't win the league with Man City because he doesn't have the mentality to deal with that style of player.
Well, some of the comments, last week around conspiracies was about Paul Hartley.
Agent Hartley.
Yeah, getting his compensation money to pay off his gambling debts. And I was like, oh, darn, how did we miss that? But I think for him it's very hard to wind the clock in the other direction. Once you start going down leagues, it's very difficult to come.
I do think you find your level. It's just who, like I say, you can associate the players to your management style.
Well, we'll see how he gets on there. Cove Rangers getting punted out of the Scottish Cup by Auchinleck Talbot.
Who are a junior team.
I know. I don't know if they'll be gutted or whether they're just arrow focused on getting to League Two.
Funny if they got like Kilmarnock or Ayr though in the next round.
That would be brutal. Well, it was like Brora Rangers last year went and faced Kilmarnock in the end.
They did. Aye, at Kilmarnock.
Because it was Ross Totley was our manager or
Aye.
something. That was sensational. I don't think we're quite going to get that this season, but we'll see. That's the funny thing about the Betfred Cup as well, is that the Hearts were the only remaining team from the group stage.
Pretty much Andy had a points deduction.
I know.
For the ineligible player.
That should never have happened.
That should have been kicked out.
That was Irving, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it
It
was
might have
Irving. Apparently he was the ineligible player. So interesting stuff there. Also, big news this week was Michael Stewart
A wee big bust up.
had a wee bust up. Would we be surprised? I've never really seen him go at someone before.
There's a bit of needle between him and a lot of the Sports Sound cast.
There used to be a lot of beef in the BT Sport camp between Stewart, Craig, and then versus Sutton. Which
Aye,
Sutton seems to have kind of absorbed, and they've kind of
they've just taken it.
yeah.
But it developed, that was good banter and it was good, constructive.
Well, it works well now. But yeah, Tom English, the Irish Scottish football writer, which
Aye,
still
bizarre.
baffles me.
Was he
Um,
right for the Scotsman? Herald?
I thought he was just purely a BBC Scotland guy.
No, he writes for, he's a journalist.
Does he?
By heart. I think he's maybe the Herald.
Right.
I had a bit of a verbal
Looking it up.
dispute, shall we say,
So
with
they were,
Michael
they were
Stewart.
talking about the Scottish internationals, weren't they?
They were.
Give some context to listeners, because nobody listens to BBC Radio
this is
Scotland.
last Tuesday or Wednesday. It's well worth a listen, actually.
So it made the front page.
It was absolutely fantastic. The argument kind of surrounded the criticism or lack of between the Albania game and the Israel game within the Sports Sound kind of bubble to say, like, you can't really criticise Michael Stewart turning around and went, yeah, you can. I did. Look at me. And
No, Michael, no.
Tom English turned around and went, no, you didn't. No one did. All this nonsense. And it kind of escalated. Fundamentally, they were arguing, but the points they were making were both the same and correct. They're just too damn stubborn to go, yeah, you're right, I'm right.
On national radio, to be
So,
arguing like
Poor old
that
James
is quite
McFadden's kind of sitting in the middle as a Scotland national coach, going, he just couldn't say either way,
yeah.
because he's kind of caught between his contractual obligations and what he probably felt.
He also was a bit useless.
He's there to kind of give you an insight as to what might have happened. He was very vague on what happened with Lee Griffiths,
Right.
and everyone's still very vague as to where he might be. Apparently he's gone AWOL from Celtic training.
Oh, has he?
Hasn't been seen all week.
Was he not at the game today?
Don't think he was.
I mean, that's an interesting one, because again, not really getting the game time. Nobody can really express why. When I talk to a lot of people, I was asking, Hibs fan the other day, I was saying, Canberra's probably one of the best strikers in the league, and he's like, well, you can't really discount Griffiths. And I was like, well, yeah, from his former glories, but not.
He's not playing regular enough.
But why?
No one can explain this. Are you honestly saying Edward's a better player than
I don't
the
look at
Griffiths
it. I don't look at it today.
Griffiths would have been a better player in that game today. Granted, Celtic still won, but I would rather have Griffiths in that team.
But then, when your career gets to that point, it's the sort of mental strength of that's when you need to knuckle down and try hard. Whereas I get the impression he might be the diva who just
It could be the Anthony Stokes and just toys out the pram, goes out in an absolute
Hibernian
bender.
striker. Riordan, O'Connor, people who didn't put their head down at the right point in their career.
Chucked it.
Scunnered it. Although Griffiths has made actually quite a respectable. He's done the same as Riordan though, essentially. Celtic and
Kind of teetering for there on in. You do wonder how long will he last at Celtic, and then where does he go from there? Does he go back to Hibs?
he's got a lot of strikers at the moment. So, but then where would Celtic find another striker? Because that would leave them with one
It does.
who's injury prone. And the biggest problem in Scotland right now is our shortage of
Just getting
strikers.
decent strikers in.
Because there's no, and that's what they're criticising Aberdeen for it earlier, not having decent strikers, but not many people in the top six do. You're lucky with folk like Naismith. Rangers have a couple. They're out injured and goosed. Kilmarnock, Boyd sits on the bench most of the time.
They're kind of relying on Jordan Jones and whoever else.
Well, Eamon Brophy, who's like, he does alright, but he's not like a.
Aye, but he couldn't take the step up. But that's the kind of position you're at. It's good for Celtic in that they have two good strikers.
Yeah.
But it's not good for Griffiths or his career or the Scotland national team that he's not getting regular game time.
It's an interesting question as of where he goes. Because, presumably going to Hibernian or one of those type of sides would be a big wage.
It'd be a big coup for whoever got him.
Yes.
I don't think he's good enough to go down to England. It doesn't suit that style of football. He tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah.
He's very good in Scottish football.
Mm-hmm.
And he would thrive in it, and because he goes into the national team, we've seen what he did against England.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely exceptional. He's a bit of a talisman in that kind of regard because people want him to do well.
Yeah.
But he just never gets the opportunity, and it's hard to say why.
It is. It's a funny one at the moment. Again, Roger's not really one to say much about it. It's interesting as well watching that game today. Is it was trying to think of how many, well, the Rangers example in particular, how many of their homegrown players were actually on that pitch.
Not a lot. I mean, a lot of them are loan players.
Well, that's the thing.
And how do you build a long-term team out of that?
Because it was when I looked at Naismith at Hearts, when he came through from Kilmarnock and stuff like that, Boyd coming through from Kilmarnock doing a job for Rangers. We're not finding those type of players anymore.
Not at the moment, not forward players, that's for sure.
I think the only player Rangers managed to produce was McGregor. That was on. Oh no, wait a minute. Was he Dunfermline? Maybe he was on loan at Dunfermline.
The point was he made a large portion of his successful career
at Rangers
has been at Rangers.
Yeah.
The rest of that team not so much, which is an issue.
That's why I've seen the two Kennys as well. Kenny Miller, who must have been laughing on the other side of his face. And Kenny McLean, who we'd all entirely forgotten about.
Is he still playing at Norwich?
I do not know. Presumably not, if he's doing that game on a Sunday. Which doesn't bode well. Scott Arfield coming on as well. You're like, what a difference you can make.
Bit a grim move for him, I'm afraid.
It was funny as well watching Ryan Jackman at the referee standing next to Graham Shinney. I was like, that's the weirdest thing. You're both essentially the same. Who's your favourite pundit of Scottish football to get back to?
Not one standout really. I like the combination of BT Sport at the moment when you do have Michael Stewart versus Chris Sutton. While they do disagree a lot, it's good. Alan McCoist is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, aye.
He brings a kind of character and liveliness to it all. I could do without Stephen Craigan. I think he's a bit droll.
He is a bit droll, but again, it provides that balance.
Maybe, but
and he's the only one of them that's actually like coaching at the moment, so kind of grounds it in a bit more relevance.
He has an insight to it. I'm not a big fan of the likes of Billy Dodds. I think a lot of these guys have been in it too much.
Yeah, the BBC people are very...
They're all pals. They all pat each other on the back and
very acoustic. And I know there's a lot of people out there, present company including, I think, would like a crack at...
Indeed, retire, please.
I could do Richard Gordon's job, I think, because some of them aren't very good,
No, I think it's not that they're not good. It's just they watch football in a different era.
I could name a few names that just are not very good.
They've seen it in a different era. I think when you look at Willie Miller.
I don't criticise Willie Miller.
I am going to criticise Willie Miller.
I like him. I like Pat Bonner. He's good as well.
The only good thing about Pat Bonner, as we discussed this earlier, he doesn't hide his bias.
No, he's very Celtic pro.
I can respect that.
Yeah,
Willie Miller, he sees football in the 80s and 90s. It's just not
when
there
it was
anymore.
Good.
And it's a poor comparison when you start doing, we managed to beat so-and-so in the 1980s. You go, well, we're not there anymore. Like, you have to be realistic as to where you are now.
People are too downer though, because I know everyone's been downing on like the national team recently, for example. But I put up a post on the Instagram page of, one of my icon legends, whatever they are in FIFA now, Gary Caldwell cards. And it's the picture of him spiralling away from scoring against France, which wasn't that long ago.
I mean, that was 2007.
Aye. Which is not that long ago. 10 years, a decade is not that long ago. Some of those players
it
are
feels
still
a long time ago.
It does feel a long time ago. But, remembering we were competing, we ultimately didn't qualify, which I think is a very Scottish thing to have,
glorious failure,
beaten France and Italy and still not qualified for a European competition. I feel it was a European competition. I can't remember.
It was the Euros 2008.
There you go.
Austria, Switzerland.
So I just remember, although some people wouldn't remember that because they weren't old enough now.
Exactly
the times
they would have
we
been
live
about
in.
3-4 year old if they were.
I know. What do you make of the move towards more female punditry and stuff like that on the?
I don't mind. I think is Alex Scott does Sky's English games.
Oh, is she the?
She was a former striker. I can't
very
remember
confident girl.
She's very good.
She is very good. She puts the rest of them.
It's Jamie Redknapp. It was kind of flipping between the channels. It was Man United
preview.
See
a woman next to Jamie Redknapp at the moment.
I think it was. I forget the kind of host, and then it was Graham Souness, Alex Scott, and Jamie Redknapp. Graham Souness, decent pundit. Makes a couple of decent points.
Right.
Alex Scott, very good in the kind of tactical side of it. Jamie Redknapp going, yeah, that's fine. I totally agree, and then moves on to the next point. He's infuriating.
Well,
he offers nothing.
Didn't she do it at the World Cup in summer? And I think it was Evra or something. Was just like, yeah, she knows her football. Yeah, you don't need me. And like half walked out of the studio.
Pretty much.
Unlike the ISTV coverage,
it puts a lot of these kind of guys to shame.
Yep, that's him. That's him just now. John, can you please stop?
Stop berating me. I might lose my job.
Stop berating me. It's interesting. I saw a few of the Scottish ones. I'm sure Shelley Kerr and stuff's been on Sports Scene and stuff, which they're
Aye.
entitled to because they've blooming qualified.
Well, you see, they're going to make, is it $750,000? I was reading this morning.
Aye.
Because they've qualified for Euro 2019
Yep.
in France, right? The SFA have netted £750,000 out of this, right?
Well, that's no bad.
Guarantee half of that will end up in the Old Firm pocket.
Yeah, yep. Sadly so.
None of that will make it to the women's game. None of it.
The exciting news as well is we're going to play America.
Paisley.
Yeah, well, that's where we usually play. You think
They
they could have done Hampden?
They could have done Tynecastle or Easter Road. At least to make it a bit of an occasion for the Americans. Come on.
So that's the thing. It's
Welcome to Paisley.
this
But
is-
it's not quite Glasgow.
yeah, but remember when the Celtic team used to take, the Champions League youth teams out to Cappy Low,
Bit of reality check.
which and
I mean,
Paisley.
this is the best women's team in the world. Aye, welcome to Paisley.
Yeah, but
it doesn't work.
it's a good facility. It's a new stadium. Where do they usually play their games in America? Like,
I mean, they get good crowds. I mean, they'll take it around America and they'll
they
go to big cities.
probably could have done Hampden if it was promoted properly.
No, I think Hampden would have been too much. I reckon Easter Road would even go up to Aberdeen. Go to Pittodrie. Make a bit of the game out up there.
Yeah, I think they would want to keep the sort of central Scotland crowd.
But
I would be interested because it is, as I say, the best team in the world.
where did Glasgow City play?
Their own stadium.
Why not play there?
I think it's quite small.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because that would have been quite good because they are the biggest women's team in Scotland.
Oh yeah, they won the league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
this
it's
big,
12 years in the bounce they've won the league now.
something like that. Hibs.
I have been reading up on women's football.
Well, John is our expert. He goes to what, second division women's football games.
Second
Or
division
something?
women's games.
I
aye.
get confused as to the way the setup works because like
It's very confusing.
there's like the SWPL1, the SWPL2.
No, there's like there's only like SPWL, which is like the Super League,
Right. Okay. Uh huh.
and then it goes the regional after that.
But there's more letters associated with it.
Yeah,
Like 1 and 2, and then like north and south.
I guess regional and then regional even more.
I know. Because I'm sure Motherwell got promoted or something, and they're cup finalists. And
I think Falkirk got relegated this season.
did they? I think Partick got promoted from something.
That probably would have been Kirsty's league. Because Boroughmuir were mid-table.
Right.
Who else was in that? There was a Celtic 2 and a Rangers 2. Because they've got cool teams, funnily enough.
But they're not even the best women's team, so why would they have goal?
There must be a SPFL Women's Super League.
Yes.
But anyway, I need to read up more.
Yeah, they make it nice and accessible for us.
It is on Soccerway.
The really funny thing I find about the women's football stuff is that their Euros games are going to be on BBC Alba because they have that
so we're going to have to
agreement.
listen to the Flaming Gaelic.
Yes, we will. But like that must be the biggest thing that BBC Alba's ever done. Like
Imagine the trip though, because they will get to go out to France.
they will get to go out to France.
See Chick Young jumping ship there.
Well, learning a bit more Gaelic. Hopefully you get your national anthems played all right. If you're not sure what that is, go back to our Belarusian episode from a time gone by. So, no, very exciting there. Which I think brings us on to our history of the Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast. Now, we get asked about this frequently by all the people that recognise us.
The two people so far.
Yeah! Well, we've done now 69 episodes, which is quite remarkable.
Right.
That we've been sat there, and obviously with your leaving, John, it brings some nostalgia back as to started from the bottom, now we're here.
That's a good 69 joke.
I didn't think of that. Oh dear, that's my mistake. Mine's out of the gutter. So, what I'll ask you, now that you've planted that bomb,
Right, okay.
is where did the name come from? Because John here is essentially the Santa Claus of the Sofamanager. He is Father
I bring the
Sofamanager.
gifts.
Oh, there's more innuendo I could go into here.
There
It's
is.
a family
There
show.
always
It's a
is.
family show. So anyway, opening your sack, John. Where did the name come from? Well, actually, what came first, the name or the actual blog sort of website?
Well, they followed one in the same. I wanted to do the blog. People were fed up listening to me talk about it. So I was like, I might as well write it and let everyone else read about it rather than me talk about it.
There you go.
So I started Googling how to set up a website, how to set up a blog. You needed a domain name. Just so
pay money
happened.
for, unfortunately.
Well, this is the hit you take.
Yep.
But I'm sold money bags, so it's fine. So far.
Money back. Hey! Ba-dum-dum-sh.
I don't know. It's just one of these things. You just kind of sit and go, that name will do. And we've just kind of ran through it for there.
I mean, It's a good name in that it's a sort of armchair pundit thing, but
Pretty
kinda
much. It was like, I'm going to sit.
rearranged.
Most of the time, I'm going to be lying on my bed or sitting on the couch typing this nonsense.
Uh-huh.
So I am a Sofamanager.
There you go.
I know best.
I think
Sit on my chair.
the podcast followed half a year after the website started. A
Took
year.
a wee bit of time for us to get in it.
Uh-huh.
Just purely on how the hell do you do it? Like,
Well, we
that
got
was your
there.
side of things, though.
Yeah, that was I'm the technical wizard. You might not be surprised by that, as I've been on all 69 episodes, plus the one episode I tried to Sofamanager extra. So yeah, the way we first started this was USB microphones, using, because people are interested in how you set up the podcast and stuff. You can tune out if you're not interested, but come back later.
Maybe come back.
We some Guitar Hero microphones.
We did 2 separate laptops.
Yeah, 2 separate laptops in the caravan because you can't plug 2 USB microphones into one. And we could never work out why we'd get like all this echo back on the microphones, because as time went on, one microphone hears the other one, you get this really hideous echo.
Or the crackle on them.
Yeah, the background hiss. But it's funny, I've been going back to the first ones recently, and you don't think, times have changed. This was in 2016, just after the summer as the Betfred Cup was starting.
It was the first ever season of the Betfred Cup.
Ooh, it was rough.
It was.
See, when you listen back to it, it was like, this was rough. So we used to do that out in the caravan, which was fine when it was warm, but it must look weird to passers-by in the driveway. 2 lads kind of sitting with a microphone in hand, like chatting away. But it was all born out of conversations we were having in the pub at the time.
It was like we could just broadcast this and bore people as well.
Record this. And ironically, we don't really do our pub meetings as much anymore. The podcast is very much kind of
Well, we did a chat here, right?
become that conversation, and we're going to be like recognised in the pub as well for being hosts of this podcast.
Indeed.
So yeah, we upgraded from then on, took it inside to the gaming room. Still, you wouldn't have seen that because there was no video, so we're purely audio. We jumped between a few different services.
Aye, we did. What was the one we tried? It was like, because we did
SoundCloud to the very first episode you dealt with on some
random streaming thing that
yeah
was supposed to be good.
never worked out.
It was supposed to cost money after that.
Yes. So we then went to SoundCloud. We had 4 different SoundCloud accounts, like cycling through.
Yeah, that was awful.
Which didn't really work because you could never really subscribe to that. Then we found, most of them went up on YouTube just in audio form.
Aye, it's been the mainstay.
Yeah. Which, never really took off, because people are looking for, videos. Put a huge amount of effort into the covers for them and stuff like that. Which is cool still to have to this day. And one of my favourite things we do is the best of episode. We had at the end of last year is great to go back and listen to, because it's great to kind of have a record of, because 69 episodes is
quite a lot.
We've sat here for thousands of minutes, thousands of hours,
Pretty much.
but it's been well worth my
69 hours.
time. Yeah, I hope you guys have certainly enjoyed it. I think the logo and things came soon after as well.
You did that
I did that
because mine was awful.
What?
Mine was awful.
What was your logo?
It was a terrible wee thing I'd made up in 2 minutes.
I don't recall that. So the wee figures on the sofa, which still stick with us to this day. We might be rebranding in the upcoming future, so we can wait and see that to happen. And yeah, then we got the video, which has proved very popular, everybody. So thank you for sticking with that. I know I wonder what long-term listeners, of which there were a handful, if that exactly would have thought seeing the faces for the first time.
It's like that's that wee.
Yeah, that's so. If you ever identify in the street as Rangers fans, I think would go for us first.
Well, after today, yeah.
After today, and before. So yeah, because you always get these big face reveals on YouTube and things like that, and that was always going to be the 100th episode special, but we jumped the gun because Amazon had a bit of a sale.
It was Black Friday.
I know. Fun thing is we actually record the audio separately to the video, so you have to line them up and post. These are wonderful XLR microphones, which I upgraded to earlier this year to get that buttery smooth sound, and it does sound good. And I would say we are the #1 video Scottish football podcast.
Yes, because there's no one else.
Just shut up, John. That's beyond the pale. But anyway, to the big news that you are moving yourself on, John.
I am now going to be London correspondent.
Ah, yes, you are. I wasn't sure if you were at liberty to say.
Oh, I don't care. London's a big place. I'll disappear.
Because of the fame and fortune, so John's now got himself a good working opportunity. Sadly, this is not what we do full time.
Although if you want me to come back, you can make me full time.
As you will. We'd be any sponsors who like what we do, we'd be
just keep me in like good supply of Greg's. I'm sound like.
Oh, there you go. That's
good sponsorship deal there as
I have
well.
slightly higher standards if you pay for my audio equipment. Then.
He's a pretty Mongier kind of guy.
Happy days. So, will you be keeping an eye on Scottish football there, John?
I probably will. I'm now going to be a football nomad.
There you go.
And that I've got the sport, so no glory hunting.
We'll be straight to Chelsea and Stamford Bridge, and then he'll be at the Emirates once they start doing well.
I'll be late in Orient for me.
Oh, we love a bit of misery in the football world, but no, we're going to miss you very much, John.
Probably.
I don't think I've had anyone in my room so frequently, actually.
It's kind of weird.
Unfortunately. But yeah, you've sat next to me the most out of any other podcast host, getting nearly 60 episodes, so thank you very much for that. No, it's very much appreciated.
We've made it, kind of.
We have made it, and as a very special treat, this is a bit of a surprise.
Is it?
It is. I haven't bought you a gift, but what I have done to round us off this evening is I've compiled some of your best bits.
Oh, that's a worry.
So what I'm going to do is I've got it here on the iPad, so we obviously won't play this back. I'll play back some of John's more interesting reactions. So yeah, stay tuned, guys, and see what you think of John's best bit. So cue the clip. Post-production. Right. On demand. This is John and I's new podcast, the Sofamanager podcast, named so because of John's excellent website.
Thank you.
You're editor-in-chief of Sofamanager, Pullman's premier sporting website.
Oh, you're too kind.
I try my best. So yeah, why not start this week by telling, this is a football podcast. Did we mention that?
No.
Oh, tremendous. This is going to be a football podcast, kind of focusing on Scottish football, giving you kind of a broad range of what's going on out with the old firm also.
There is a world outside that.
Just about. Just about.
Aye.
We got a seat, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
No, I was quite content.
Speaking of rail transport, however, on the way back, John Brown was feeling excitable today. He was very much not himself. He's now not being treated as a hooligan in the stadium, decided to be more of a hooligan. So it was an absolutely blazing Aberdeen fan. Well, he wasn't blazing, but he had a can of Stella in his hand, so he'd one of those guys.
Alright, okay.
He'd put his backpack up in the kind of hold bit up on the top of the train. Not very well. So he leaves his can of Stella. There's a lovely blonde that sits opposite from him. He tries to get a chat with her. She's not having it. Quite really stick the headphones in. And of course, I see it happen in slow motion. Like the bag drops, Stella can all over her. And what do you say to that, John? What do you shout to that? More to the point.
Sue them.
Sue them. In the middle of the carriage. John just goes, sue them. I'm in stitches. I am like, if I could like ruffle, for lack of a better term, I completely would have done. But of course, I'm an eyeliner, this poor girl who's having to clean Stella of all things, a bit of wife beater on her lap, and I'm howling with laughter. I think people are like, shame on you, but I'm laughing at what he said. Another kind of point we're going to make was about player power over clubs. There's a lot of people at the moment trying to force moves. We hear today that Ousmane Dembele has apparently wrecked Jurgen Klopp's house in Dortmund, which he's renting since he's now at Liverpool.
You sure?
Well, I'll clip that, don't worry. Why would he do that? What are you even talking about? Like,
somebody did that in Falkirk.
What?
I think it was John Hughes.
To try and force a move?
No, he did it to one of the players. I forget who it was, but he did that.
Was that just his sense of humour, though?
I was
a joke.
A prank. It went horribly wrong.
I don't even want to envisage how that was set up. So, what is the power struggle like like for clubs versus players. I'll leave John.
Sorry.
Right away. But like, for example, you know, were you sad to see Neymar go from? Aye. For me, it was quite good to see Hartley seems to have brought in a new regime. There was cones out on the park before kick-off.
They were really into it.
They had all these like harnesses that they were. There was equipment.
Somebody's been out with the checkbook.
I know.
I think we found our culprit for this.
Nick the Hamilton money. Hartley comes in. I've got a few demands. I know where we'll get this from.
I need a hacker. I need a Swiss bank account.
They don't deserve to be in the Premier League. We shall merely take their money and relegate them.
Indeed.
Well, we'll say no more on that. Our mouths are super sealed. As Rob McLean was saying in the comments. Now, the next question. According to John, the league title hinged on the signing of which player? A. Gary Harkins, B. Jason Cummings, or C. Rory Loy?
Probably Rory Loy.
Oh well.
I was like, no.
You're correct. It was Rory Loy. The clip at the start of the season was we were discussing on whether it was going to be Falkirk or St Mirren signing on Rory Loy, and that it hinged on who was going to win the league.
I was right.
Are you aware? Rory Loy signs with Falkirk, St Mirren win the league. So not in the same sense that you thought it would be.
Rangers did a fine containment job. No, I'm just going to disagree with you.
Okay. I'm fighting you. I'm no longer sitting agreeing because we've had comments calling you an imbecile from other people.
And yourself, obviously.
Well, particularly from Rangers fans who were furious at your comments in the last
We
podcast.
both got that wrong.
No.
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah,
you,
we did.
You said
Yes.
that they didn't.
No,
They'd
yeah.
never won a European trophy, and I'd.
No, we said they had won a European trophy. You said it didn't count.
No, you said it didn't
You said
count.
it didn't
You were the one that wouldn't put them in the. Right.
Do you want me to come and sit in the middle of you?
Cup winners' cup, Fraser. Like, what was your
Counts.
policy?
No, yeah, it was like the green jacket thing before the in US Masters. You win a green jacket, you had to go back every year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you
In
win
a
the Champions
European
League,
Super League kind of thing.
you have to go back every year into the group stage and just get bigger and bigger.
You didn't. Oh, no.
Wait, so John excluded Rangers on the basis that he couldn't remember what year they'd won the European trophy or whatever.
Aye.
Anyway,
I'll let my solicitor on you.
anyway, why do you think your defensive point?
I go to the gym and then equal it out by eating a fish supper. You know, like, I keep my shape.
There you go.
But it looks like so does half the Falkirk team as well.
I know. The fun thing about that game, though, English referee.
Oh, he was murder.
I thought he was good. I couldn't
You are having
complain.
two red cards for Connor Quay, absolutely no doubt.
Ah, right, hold on.
Right, the boy punched Muirhead in the face.
Oh, but that was before Muirhead tried to overhead kick him on the way down.
He punched him in the face.
He tried to overhead
he
kick him
ma-
on the way down.
He made contact.
He tried to. If you
There's still a red card.
Right, hold on.
Alright, both are off then. Both are off.
This is a video, very much video. If you watch him, he sticks his knee and tries to bring like,
Right,
his
then he
foot
comes
back.
up and he goes like this.
Oh well, I know, but like that's what they were.
Nice.
That's the most visual thing we've ever done on this podcast. So
Visual
tune into the YouTube, by the way. Sorry
take
for
my
all
back
for all our audio listeners. I know. I thought the referee was fair. There was a few times I think he could have booked a few more Connacht players. They were a rough team. Hear my conspiracy?
Yeah, go for it.
This is my own doing. This was no research.
Right.
The SFA/SPFL is actually a Trojan horse set up by the English to destroy Scottish football.
Right.
And what they've done is they've constructed androids such as Neil Doncaster and Alan Stubbs to come in and destroy our game.
Right.
And they're doing very successfully.
So we're going to say like Chris Sutton's the Terminator and he's,
Well,
he's twisted.
Right. I did think of whether to include Chris Sutton, but I was like, he's actually very pro Scottish football in some cases.
Chris Sutton is the Terminator sent back in time to save John Connor, which is the SPL.
I like that. So he's turned around to become the actual saviour. Oh, dude, that could be a thing. Androids turn all the time.
The Sassenach Professional Scottish Football League. The SPFL.
Oh, you can tell it's getting late, can't you?
No,
I like that.
my best one's the Iron Brew Cup.
Yes,
It's,
you're a
a,
fan
it's
of
a proxy for poo.
There you go.
It's like a eulogy.
Well, the thing about that is I wasn't sure whether to put like a black and white photo at the end and be like, rest in peace. Like the other week on Sports Sound, we heard them saying, what was it? Louis Moult had not passed on, but was no longer with us. It was akin to something like that. So, no, a big thank you from all of us here at Sofamanager, John.
Nope.
And you are very much Sofamanager. Thank you as well to Darren and Fraser who's helped us out. Andrew as well. I'm sure we're all very thankful, and it's been a wonderful experience. Thank you to everybody. I feel this is the sort of first chance we get to say
Goodbye. We'll see you later.
goodbye and thank you to everybody. So, John, I will say goodbye and I will leave you to play us out with a message for the fans.
I'll see you next week, probably.
Brilliant. Do you want to do the usual finishing line?
Yeah, you can do it. It's
No,
always
you
you.
can do it.
It's always you.
You do it.
Have a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning.